So today we're going to be making gurneys for the protests to help the medic group out. I already cut down this 8x4, or 8, sorry, 4x1, 8 feet long. So I cut it down to 6'6". The average person is about 5'6". I made it 6'6" to give leverage and also to allow for taller people, because I'm 5'9", so I would not fit on a 5'8" stretcher that well. It's supposed to support your C-spine, it's supposed to support your spinal column, and make sure that enough people can work together and carry someone. So what we're going to do is we're going to put supports in between these two boards, not rigid supports. We're going to put rope, and then what we're going to do after all that's done is we're going to put canvas. It could be a linen, it could be a blanket. Linen is less good because it's going to be easily ripped, easily torn, but like a quilt, that would work as well. Like something that would be is firm enough as a fabric but still easily folded, because we want this to be mobile. So what we want to do, I set up, basically, I marked out the center 5'5" or 5'6", so that's one end of the 5'6", and then here's the other end of the 5'6", right here. And what I'm gonna do basically is put supports at the joints of the body. So I'm marking out where approximately on a person the shoulders would be, where the hips would be in the middle of the body, and right basically below the knee. We don't want to go just below the knee, because that's like approximately a balanced support hold. So our shoulders are around like 14 to 13 inches down from the top of our body. And so, because we add our neck in between there. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark out 14 or 13, between 14 and 13 inches. So 13 and a half inches down from my 5'6" mark at the top. And then I'm going to keep going down basically by dividing the body into thirds, which is just like an art proportion rule. You divide by thirds, and then your hip is the top third of your body, and then your basically your legs are 2/3 of your body, approximately. So 1/3 down, 1/3 down from your head. This is your person. 1/3 down is your shoulder, is your hip, and then 1/3 down from that is your knee, approximately. Next step is we're going to drill the holes for the rope to pass through. So if I haven't said this already, you need rope, you need boards or dowels. So 1x4 works, or you could get 2x4, but it's heavier. And dowels for like a guard railing, that would also work. The thinner it is, the more flexible it's going to be, which it could actually then break. We don't want someone's weight, even though it's evenly distributed across the gurney, we don't want it to bend in the middle, basically, and then the gurney would snap and then the person could fall. Especially because we're drilling, we're creating sort of weak points. We just want to make sure that we're drilling small enough. So I'm using a 1/2 inch, basically like bit to drill in, and then I'll show you from there. So you want to make sure that you're going in. You can't drill in less than about like an inch from the edge of the wood. So basically just you want to make sure that it doesn't just like completely snap through on this side. You want to make sure that there's a good solid piece of wood there. So I did it basically on each of the points that I marked out, about an inch away from the edge of this wood, right there. You can see that right there. And then I'm gonna start assembling the first bit of the gurney. Alright, so what I'm gonna start doing here is I'm gonna start measuring out approximately like 2 to 2.5 feet of rope. And then I'm gonna mark the rope itself. I'm not gonna cut it yet, because what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna feed it through this gurney so that I can make a ladder. It's gonna be lattice basically across, like tying shoelaces. So I fed it in through here. Basically, this is the start of our line. So it's going in, under, through here, follows to the middle, basically. We're gonna get this out of the way. It follows to the middle, then it goes down to the tail. This is basically to center it vertically. And then it's going to go up and then back or down. And then when we're crossing, when we cross, we're gonna do a loop. So this is coming from here. It's gonna go around and then under itself, basically. So to the right, like that. If you can see that, it goes and then loops and then goes back to the middle on the other side. And then it does the same thing, but on the opposite direction. So this, like that. It loops and goes to the left of itself from there towards the direction it's heading in, and then you're going to go down. You have to feed it back through the same hole first, and then it's going to be here. So I'm going to take a little bit of slack out, and basically what you're left with is this point where these two are loose, right? So now I'm going to space it out. I want to make sure that it's evenly spaced. I'm actually going to have to move it because this is too narrow for me to space it out right now. So if you can't see what I've done, basically whenever there's a mark here, I try to get as close to the holes as possible, and it kind of it squares it off, basically. It's a weird way to do it, but yeah, so it squares it off. So then that'll be basically when it's about as even as it can get. If you, yeah, the mark is in the hole. This is close to the hole, and yeah, it's just like a target. It's a target. So we have this lattice ladder, and what we're gonna do to tie it off, I don't know many tie-offs, so I'm gonna use a bowline knot. Out of the hole, around the tree, back into the hole. I'm gonna tie that off. So we want to tie it up higher than that. We want to tie it up like right at the spot. Tighten it up. Give that a good tug. And then do like a little finisher. Like that. I undid my tie off because I wanna make sure that this is taut, basically. So at this point, about 2 feet across, let's see this. What I want to do, so I want to tie it off here first, basically with it taut as much as possible, and then do the bow line. No. So back again, coming out of the hole, around the tree, and back through the hole. And then you can tighten that up. There we go. And then a couple more tie-offs, just to make sure that's not going anywhere. That's a box knot. There you go. Okay, so we're tied off here. That's taut basically, and now if we hold it up, it's a lattice. And from there, that's where we get the canvas. So basically, this is already a stretcher. If I laid on this, I could be picked up, and the main parts of my body would be supported. However, we want to make sure that this is like not giving people splinters or anything, especially if you don't have like sandpaper like that. So like adjustments happen, but alright. That's our lattice. If you could get tarp works too. Just something that can basically like spread across and then fold pretty easily. Tarp actually might work better because it can be hosed off easily, just in case there's blood, so people are not getting cross-contamination. But for now, sacrificing one of my top sheets. I don't have a stapler. Staplers would be best, basically, just to like quickly like connect the canvas to the side pieces, but I'm currently going to like improvise. We'll see what I'm gonna do. So good news, I found some twine, and there's very little that you can't do with twine and scissors. So grabbing the scissors. So I'm gonna fold the sheet the short way, basically, so hamburger style, and then I'm gonna fold it one more time. Just making sure that it's even. So now we're gonna go ahead, cut some twine. So I'm gonna feel underneath for the part where it crosses over. She's about right there. Okay. Put it back. There we go. Okay. So that's a good point. I'm going to cut through all of the sheets at once. To make sure that they're even, because you don't want to have to like maneuver the whole. I do the fold and cut along the crease method. It just makes it easier. So pocket. Okay, so I made it through all of them. My string, my cut is right here. I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna double it over. I'm sewing, basically go through, feed at the bite, through the sheets. So feeding that through, and then, yeah. So it's gonna bend in this way. I can see because the close edge is inwards. So I'm gonna go under. There, and then tie off. Again, there are people who know better rope skills. They have better rope skills than I do, and so I'd say, like, if you have better rope skills, do the thing that you're gonna do. But this is just improvising, like a little tie. just to keep this bad boy on here. In the meantime, I'm just gonna do basically the same thing. One of them is going to be closer to one of the holes. I did it at the crossovers of the two ropes. But you want to make sure that they're at the head, at the feet, and then two in the middle, and two in the middle on both sides, basically. Yeah, they're fixed to the boards. The next step is the handles, and this is probably one of the most important parts because people have to carry this. So I'm gonna get more rope and then start on the handles. I'm gonna cut this basically into fours, but before I cut it, I want to knot it because this particular type of rope, unless you burn it, it can fray, like if you can see over here. So I want to knot it, and basically like you want the handles, like it's better if there's a thicker handle. So like if you do this and you double it over, and then this is the width of your handle, so you're holding it like that, it's better, but I don't have enough rope for that, so I'm gonna do single handles. It's just that it's hard on your hands because you're carrying a person, and even if it's divided by 4, it's still like heavy with just the strap. So I will knot the rope and then divide it, and then cut it. Yeah. I'm gonna actually move this back over because we're gonna have to drill another hole for the handles. So it's easier if you do this earlier, but I wasn't thinking about it. So, all right. So we're lined up. We're gonna have one handle, basically a handle, a fourth of the way in on the bottom and a fourth of the way in at the top. So that basically you can like carry with 2 arms on each side. Usually you want 3 people, or like 3 people or 2 people, because you have people at the head and at the feet. Approximately this far in for the first one. So like that's my hand. It's gonna be the width of the 2 strings. Yep. So yeah, I'm gonna feed this in from the inside out. This already has a knot on the end, so I'm gonna feed this in through this side. To get there, through here. That knot's not going anywhere. Alright, then going through, back on this side, because we want the handles on the outside. Through this. And at this point we're just going to knot it. Okay. The handles are all attached here, outside, 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 and on the outside here. So before I had the strings on there, and then I went over to a friend's house, and now I have staples into the boards, and it actually helps a lot better to support the C-spine and the head. So like making sure that they're taut, especially at the corners and along the edges. I made sure to like kind of overkill on the staples so that just in case like it rips or something, it won't completely break away. Yeah, so it works. We tested it with someone who's about like 160 pounds, less than that. And it's like reasonable, and it doesn't hurt your hands, and yeah, so good stuff for that. I think I'm gonna make more. We have tarp now, and bandages and stuff that we're probably gonna donate. So yeah.